we'd fall back into our own selves again if we didn't have them, because that's what history has shown. We just the personal self has a strong pull, and people just go back into their regular lives and just get absorbed in pleasures and pains of the world. So it takes a lot of focus and perseverance, persistence to get on with this. A lot of people come into this and they really love it. They think it's great, and then after a while they get the knowledge and they just sort of peter out. Something pulls them back again because they don't have the stamina to do it. It really takes the stamina. And I see Dwayne too. I mean, musician, he has to focus all the time. He can't, in a sense, relax. I mean, he does in the personal self, but in terms of the real awareness, life is always on. It's always on. There's not a time where it's off, like you shut the lights off, well, it's good to rest now. Life is always on, and so is the real. It's always aware. So it's interesting the way it is. It's fascinating to me the way it is, the all is in this reality. It's just really cool. It's never like what I think it is or consider it to be. It's always fresh and new, and it's wonderful to be in this position with it.
Yeah, you're so right. And you really have to look at what is going on in this world. Decision. Are they telling me the truth? What is going on? The news is telling you one thing. People are saying another. You begin to wonder, what is real here? Is this real? And then you look to the guides, that you're told about these guides, you're aware of them, you're told about them. And the adventure just begins if you realize what these guides are really here to help us and to see that we are not alone here. We are not. Life is now. We are just every turn it seems we are deceived. There's more to life than just what appears. And with the guides here, they're so absolutely wonderful to give themselves to help us to see what's really going on in this world. And it is a picture. And it's you have to be focused. You have to want to know what is real and what isn't. Paths just lead into, I believe, ask so-and-so guide to help me, or I believe and I hope and I want. This is only half the picture. You really do have to want to do this, to take the adventure, to really go with what you have experienced and what you will experience. So just stick with this. Keep your focus, and life will show you. Tim?
Yeah. I was just thinking how the guides must be looking at us right now and putting up with. They're so understanding. They see how all the funny things we do. I don't know how they could even think that mankind at what it looks like is ever going to pay attention and become real students of life, what it's all about, and listen to the ones that already have gone through all the experiences and learned the lessons that it takes to get out of these psych realms. This big opportunity at the present on Earth, bigger than it's ever been, it sounds like, with Dwayne. This offering the new you song, that if a person is sincere and does these sessions in the morning when they wake up and before they go to bed for 10 or 15 minutes each day, showing that they really do want to connect with the real universal guides, it sounds like they'll see. If a person puts out the effort and wants to know what life's about, that's being the detective, and that they'll give us the clues, the hints that are needed if we pay attention. This big opportunity that is on the earth right at the present, or stick around in these psych realms to a worse and worse life experience, which maybe is needed. Maybe we've gone through it in one world or another. Who knows unless you know. But it's something to be very grateful for. If a person tests and finds out for themselves that it's the real purpose in their life, why they're here, to become aware of what life's really is.
The real guides have a life of their own too. In this, we have a short window here. There's somebody that took the position. Dwayne was willing to volunteer and take this on. Big challenge for him. Sometimes there's nobody ready or nobody available. So that's when the world becomes really dark. Rebazar was a torchbearer. He kept it, it up, but he wasn't like Dwayne. I mean, he wasn't really interfacing with the public. And so we have this short window with Dwayne right now, because sometimes there's nobody either ready or willing to be out there taking that risk with the public, because we see from past history they don't want us here. The real guides have been destroyed in the past because the controllers don't like what we're talking about and what we're showing people, that is how to become more aware. So they have a life, the real guides have a life. They can, we have this certain idea about angels and gods and Sutra, but they are awareness. They have places where they meet and they go, and it's they have a life, but it's bigger than anything that we can really imagine, and it relates to the seventh level and relates to the real universes, being to being, a different type of relationship than what we're taught here in the world, which is basically a lot of drama. But being to being is very real, and that's what they have with each other. They have, they're basically the same. I asked Dwayne, what's the difference between you and, say, Rebazar? He said, nothing. We're the same. So the same in terms of part of the isness. They have different views, but they're still the essence. The isness is the same. We're all part of this reality. We just have different viewpoints, but in essence, we're the same. We're free beings of light, and we can move around. recognize, we can do all kinds of things with this, first of all, knowledge, and then the recognition comes and the perception. And it's really an adventure like no other. You can't even, nobody's ever, we haven't even done this before in the history of mankind, what's going on right now. So it's up to each one of us to find his or her own adventure and step into it and go for it. Is that right, Lila?
Yes. Dwayne is speaking here. He says, when I was given the rod of power for the first time, I was shown that Paul Twitchell had presented what now out of date and needed a revision. Durwood or Gerald, appointed to do the job originally, were not interested in the true reality, but that of religious ideas. The guides do not bother with the nonsense of these two, others like them. A person can be shown their dream visions who realize the new ways, the rod of power. The rod of power was what Paul referred to, and so now that is the new nowness. It is the new wave. This true reality, the sound light reality from the all is, has become more so than it was in Paul's day. In other words, it is more exposed, and so, in a way, it becomes harder to see for most people because they are even more ingrained in the old ways of priests, masters, and gurus. In the same instant, it is so much better for those who do perceive it now. It, as a mere example, can be the difference between what was once the Model T Ford and then coming into this between this era of supercharged cars. There really is a difference, and the same is with the all is, as it is having its own life and experience. Humans have been taught to conceive, and by doing so, they have boxed themselves according to their own wants and desires to where the gods seemingly must obey them. And so, a control over their gods, and especially others. Most people have, and they pray to something or someone is an interruption, and the doer must reap the consequences. Here again is where people have been taught to go blindly with what others decide, who do not have the real experience and the real guides. The true reality is continually expanding with itself, whereas the church and their doctrines of obedience from the old dim and dusty past continue to add more regulations to bow to. The choice is simple: fly like the eagles or stay caged like an animal. All of us will be around forever, and so it only makes sense to be totally aware and unrestricted, and to have the material world and all that is contained here is in its infancy state of affairs and will always be so. This is the reason for a person having dreams. They need a way out of their passing dream, which is everyone thinks is the real of life, but it is not. And so a depth study of our life according to what is being shown to us constantly should be one's first priority. Those who do not dream or remember their experiences by practicing in the new sessions, they will start to have recollection as their real awareness steps in. And as a real guide to gently reveal their new adventure to them. The ancient belief system, even though their teachings are based on dreams, but have a taboo on them because they do not want their followers to escape from the domain of the Kalam Yum God and his overly seductive mistress, the influence. Here is where the earthly systems have created their devils, those of other paths or teachings, to keep their stranglehold of fear in their followers. Right, Dean?
Yes, they certainly do try their best to hold us down. Hold, and they're doing a good job, and a fine job, I would say. And they have the opportunity to wake up too, as Dwayne always says. As they're listening, which I'm sure they are, to everything we're doing. But you have a chance also to make a turnaround and to do something of a benefit for yourself and for others. It's never too late. You can always do something better for yourself. It just takes time to do so. That the glamorous, the seductive part of the world here is calls to many people, and they listen and they go that way. So, and I can see that. It's just, and the good people of the world, they don't know where to turn. They become, they do humanitarian type things and feed the hungry, volunteer for things that don't get it. So it's that recognition really to get out of here. You can be here, but not here at the same time. And that's what this opportunity here is, this window of opportunity for everybody. It's not here. So, boy, you better just, do something good for yourself here, and wake up to what your real awareness is. There's part of you that is so wonderful